Welcome everyone back to Mr. Weather Updates. In today's video, we've got a live radar, look at the UKV, have a look at the next 5 days, and touch as well look at GFS, ECM, and the next 12 weeks. The UK Euro one for the next couple of weeks. That will take us to the early stages of September and late August, and I'll deliver this for you in a second as well. Now, maybe a bit of a different start, because as you know, for today it is the partial solar eclipse, and that is going to be evident just after 7 p.m. today in the evening. Now I'm going to give you the forecast for what it's going to be like in terms of clouds, where the best places are for the eclipses. So you can see here how much you kind of have to look at where the sun is, because the sun will be around 279 degrees west, so about west-northwest. So that's where you would have to look into it. It's going to be basically setting in the horizon, but it may become quite noticeable, let's say. So do have a look at the live radar first. You can see not too much rain in England at the moment, or in England, England and Wales, let's say. But there is some rain in Ireland. That could move up, and a couple of light showers in Northern Ireland, and some heavier pulse showers in northwestern Scotland. Otherwise, west of the bulk of England and Wales is staying largely dry and hot. Look at the weather warnings again. It's going to be quite a hot. We still have an amber extreme weather warning. I did go through this yesterday, so do come back. So go back to yesterday's video. But again, this is the amber warning that will be in place for tomorrow. Due to very high temperatures, I'm not going to read it, but this is basically the area it's in. Mostly in central and southern areas. It's on the Met Office website. Read it for yourself. If you declare UKV, have the observations next couple of days, see if there's any meaningful rainfall. There's a couple of rain in northwestern Scotland, unfortunately, and that'll be throughout the day, so there's not going to be too much in the way of sunshine there. However, there's a lot more sunshine as you go. Yeah, so there's a lot more sunshine as you go. A lot more to the north and the west. Sorry, the south and the east, should I say. Obviously, the further northwest you are, the less likely you are to see the eclipse. So if we have a look at the peak time at 7 o'clock, there's a little bit of a high-level cloud. I don't know if you can see that in the far north. A little bit of high-level cloud. But still, the sun will be quite transparent through it. So we should be fine with that. But obviously, if you're in northwestern Scotland, especially, unfortunately, unless you want to travel down south, you need to, unfortunately, not see too much of the solar eclipse, because it's going to be obscured by clouds, and you probably wouldn't notice much because it's going to be dark anyway, unfortunately. However, if you're down south, you have a much better likelihood of seeing the solar eclipse. You can go as far north as, I think, west or North Yorkshire to see a good covering. Of it, so because it's not too much cloud in the way. Got to be some high level, transparent cloud at times, but nothing too much. But beyond that, again, still going to be quite a clear night. Again, good for the meteor shower as well. And through there, you can see there's heavy, perhaps even thundery showers moving from the northwestern Scotland. Some very heavy rain at time possible. As we get that, it's going to be a very hot day for many tomorrow. Widely clear and sunny spells for all, with some patchy low cloud at times in the northwest, but still going to be very, very hot at times. But it does seem to be getting increasingly cloudy as we go throughout the day, with some heavy thunder showers in the northwest. On to Friday, a lot more cloudy, a little bit more drizzly as well, with a greater likelihood of showers, and that's going to move southeast, with a bit of a thicker cloud at the end of the day. On to Saturday, not too bad actually, a bit of cloud in the south, moving to southeast. Could even get some showers at times, which is quite good. But, you know, still to be quite a nice day, though. It's a lot of breaks in the cloud, even in Scotland, could be quite clear at times. Before, and Sunday's quite clear, quite similar, really, a bit, not too much cloud around. But as we go into Monday, you can see some heavy rain is moving on for the Atlantic. That could definitely bring some substantial, much needed rain. For if it does move into England, but there are very heavy rain pulses going in there, so it could be quite unsettled there, especially for northwestern Scotland, where they're most likely to see the most of this rainfall. Now, if you have a look at the temperatures for the next couple of days, you can see again it's going to be a very hot day today. If you have a look at the peak temperatures, we're likely to see, well, in Scotland, we are likely to be in the low to mid 20s. So it's going to feel quite pleasantly warm, if not quite warm there for them. Otherwise, it's going to be quite a pleasant day. So yeah, around 21 to 26 Celsius, perhaps even 27 Celsius in the far eastern portion of Scotland. Northern England with the high 20s, low 30s. We can see 31 degrees in the far northeast of England. Then we've got central and southern areas we'd like to see low to mid 30s, 33, perhaps even 34 Celsius is likely in the far southwest. In the southwestern England, towards Bristol area, you can see 34 Celsius likely, so quite hot there. And a fairly muggy and warm night as well, unfortunately. And as we go into Thursday, this is probably the most light temperatures now. You can see Thyroid Scotland, a little bit cooler there. This time some areas in the teens, a bit high teens. What was there? Low to mid 20s. So you can see 25 Celsius is the highest in Scotland, maybe even higher in the far southeast in Scotland as well. And then Northern England, high 20s, low 30s, maybe even mid 30s. Could see 34 Celsius in Yorkshire somewhere. And then into southern and central England, widely mid 30s. So we'll like to see 35, 36, maybe an isolated 37 Celsius. Would be absolutely exceptional to see 37 Celsius. Would be one of the hottest days in August for sure, so that'd be exceptional if we did see 37 Celsius. But it's a fairly low chance. Now, as we go into Friday, you can see that fresher feel does start to be a little bit more apparent over the course of Friday, especially. In Scotland, especially. We're likely to be back into the teens, maybe in the low 20s in the far east. 21 Celsius is still likely in eastern Scotland. Northern England, we're in the low 20s, maybe mid 20s in the east, as we get that weather front moving in, the decaying weather front. And then central southern areas, we're in the high 20s, low 30s. We could still see 32 Celsius in East Anglia. Still feeling fairly warm, if not hot there. But that fresher feel will be arriving as the day goes, as the weekend goes through, and into Saturday, we're back to around average for the entire year. Scotland, low to mid-teens. We're going to see 19 degrees as the highest, so we're back to around average for them. Northern England, we're like in the high 20s, high teens, low 20s. So, yeah, you can see 23 Celsius in the east, possible in that area. And then the rest of the areas, central and southern England, I'd like to see the low, perhaps the mid-20s, but nowhere near as much as we had recently. So you can still see 25, perhaps even 26 Celsius, but feeling a lot cooler compared to recent days. About a 10-degree drop in them temperatures. And look how cold the nights would get. Could even see single figures into Sunday. So very fresh and a bit below average in some areas. Then on to Sunday. Again, we're in Scotland. I'd like to see the low to mid-teens once again. We could expect to see 19 degrees as the highest in Western Scotland. Northern England, see high teens, low 20s, so still feeling a bit pleasant, so 22 Celsius likely on Sunday. So central southern areas of England, we like to see the low to mid 20s, around about average, perhaps a little bit above, but not nowhere near as exceptional as this week. 25 to 26 Celsius still likely in southern areas. And that gets us back into that Monday as well. Now looking at the GFS model one to see what the weather's like for the next couple of weeks. If it lets me, it doesn't want to, I don't know why, but it doesn't want me to go on that one. There we go. You can see why it's so hot. We've got a southerly air mass moving in, bringing in some very hot air from the continent. And throughout the week, that's going to come back to a northwesterly wind, a bit of a cooler trend at times. Interestingly, this doesn't show the low pressure system on the UKV. There's a GFS, we'll have to keep an eye on that. So this suggests actually it does, a bit of a hidden one actually. From the low pressure system, could be moving east, bringing some unsettled weather at times, a bit cooler at times as well, with some transient ridges to the south, so the south will be less likely to see the low pressure systems. And then we've got a cut-off low forming in England that could linger for a couple of days actually, if that had to come off, with another transient ridge building in into the end of August. Looking at the ECMWF one, you can see again high pressure builds in, bringing some hot weather from the continent, a southerly air mass, and then finally we get a cooler air mass moving in a northwesterly to westerly flow, with a low pressure system moving in throughout the week, being quite unsettled actually, and a bit more like changeable than unsettled, but still quite changeable at times, like we've seen for quite a lot this summer ish. And looking over to temperature settings, it's got up a little bit, so 18 to 19 degrees at HHPA, but it could even get a little bit higher than that due to obviously a bit of dry ground. And then finally, looking at the UK meteor one, again high pressure builds in, bringing some very hot weather from the continent with a southerly air mass. That brings a northwesterly airflow from the Atlantic, bringing a bit of an unsettled theme at times, especially the northwest and the Scotland area. So that's your weather forecast for today. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.